Welcome to Ad Spend Secrets. My name is Luke Smith. In this episode, we're going to be talking about a question that comes up a lot in client conversations. Why should I bid on my own brand name? So let's discuss a few reasons why that might be now. When talking to potential clients or existing clients, we often get the same question popping up quite a bit when we're talking about the strategy around their Google ads and why we might be pushing to run some brand traffic. The question is, why would I pay for an ad to serve when somebody types in my own brand name, right? Because if they were to Google their own brand name, in some cases or in most cases, they've got an organic listing. So their website will actually show up as number one or pretty high in that search page regardless. So the question becomes, if I'm coming up here for free, why would I pay for it? Now, there's a number of reasons why, but there's probably three that we can go through today, which I feel justifies the reasoning to bid on your own brand name. Number one is you secure the real estate, the space around your brand, right? You want to own that space. You want to stop competitors because they can come in and bid on your brand name. And you will see this happen if you've searched for your own brand and you see another ad in there. That is someone trying to move in on your turf, so to speak. So you want to lock in that real estate and you want to secure it. The other benefit there is if you pop an ad at the top, because an ad will show above your organic listing. If you were to pop an ad at the top, it pushes your organic down, but then it also pushes everything below your organic listing, your organic Google search listing down further. So you're really owning more of that page. So people would have to scroll quite a way through Google to get to any other listing or any other search result that is not your brand, right? So you really are owning that space, in the realest of terms there, in the realest of meanings. So that's number one, owning the real estate. Number two is chopping and changing messaging. And the difficulty with SEO, with updating the data that Google reads and interprets, the data that shows without running an ad on Google, is that it's slow. And it's not very easy to chop and change that messaging. You can do it, you go into the back end of your website and it might refresh and update fairly quick, but you don't want to be doing that all the time because it can affect your organic rankings. And it's just not something you want to be doing. The reason that running ads in that space can be extremely beneficial is because you can chop and change the messaging. And you can actually add what Google calls site links. They're an asset, or they used to be called extensions, but site links are a type of asset on Google that you can add on to your ad and provide links to various subsections and other areas of your website. An example where this might be incredibly useful, and we did this for a client, was we added site links to push through to their sale page for a Black Friday sale, right? So if you're running a sale, you want that sale messaging to be very, very prominent, and it's not something you want to be updating in your SEO listing. So when you've got an ad at the top and somebody Googles your brand name, maybe they've seen your ad on Facebook and thought, well, that sale's pretty good. I'm going to go check it out. 2 days later, they go to Google. You want that ad to show the same sales messaging so that it's congruent. And you also want dynamic links, recent links on your website, links to take them directly to that sales page. So you're just cutting out any of that additional friction. You want them to be able to find the messaging and the links that they want and need at that point in time to make an informed decision to purchase. So it can reduce friction. You can dynamically update links and you can dynamically update messaging very, very quickly. That's benefit number two. Now, the third reason you might want to bid on your brand name is because it's low cost, high reward. Usually the cost per click, and on Google you pay per click, it's very cheap compared to bidding on, say, a generic keyword. If you're a t-shirt brand and you bid on your own brand, say it was Luke's t-shirt, if you were to bid on Luke's t-shirt, it would be very low in terms of a cost per click. And it's more likely that that's going to result in a sale than if you were to be bidding on more of a generic term, right? Like red t-shirts. There's no brand intent there. So it's a very low cost, high reward initiative to secure that real estate and have the opportunity to dynamically update your messaging and links to make all of your marketing really congruent, and you want to close the loop. Remember, Google is used as a last touch platform. It's usually one of the last places people go before they pull the trigger and make that purchase. So tying up that loose end, getting your ad in there, getting them to the right page at the right time, the return on ad spend, the ROAS calculation, when you look at the data breakdowns, is going to be significant. And there is another actual reason why you might want to have that in place and bid on these terms, is because people and brands and agencies are running what's called a performance max campaign these days. And right now, though it's coming, it's not easy. You can, but it's not easy to exclude branded traffic from a performance max campaign. So a lot of brands will tell us, hey, we don't want to bid on our brand name. And then when we go in and we audit their account, what we're seeing is that the campaigns they're already running are heavily serving ads on their own brand name. So they're doing it, but unknowingly and indirectly. So by creating these brand campaigns, you have full control over how much you're going to spend on brand. You can start to separate prospecting versus retargeting and really start to get a feel for what it might cost to acquire a new customer versus get someone over the line who may be already familiar with your brand. And that separation is pretty key for growth. So separating and dividing your account between new customer acquisition and existing or engaged users is another benefit there. And so if you've thought about all of these reasons and you're still sort of thinking, hey, look, I don't know if this is a good idea for my brand. I don't know if I want to be bidding on brand. There is a happy medium that we have tried and tested and run for larger volume accounts. And it really does only work for larger volume accounts. What you can actually do is you can create an audience in, say, Google Analytics 4, GA4, or even in Google Ads. And you can say, create an audience of anyone who's visited my website more than 2 times in the last 180 days or year, for example. It's going to build a pool of people who meet those specifications, who meet those parameters. They visited your website multiple times then. The assumption is that they already know your brand. So if you were then to create a brand campaign with keywords of your own brand, you can then exclude that audience. And so what that's doing is that is kind of a happy medium, right? What it's going to do is it's going to only serve ads to people that Google your brand name, but haven't been to your website multiple times within the last year. So what we're gathering there is that somebody is aware of your brand, so they're searching specifically around your brand name, but they might still be a new customer, a new customer opportunity, because they haven't, or at least according to Google and their tracking and cookie data, they haven't been to your website in the last 180 days or 365 days. So that is a bit of a happy medium. Like I said, it does work well with larger volume brands because Google's audience sizes are a factor there. It really only starts to run and serve those audiences once they hit a certain number of people. I think it might be about 1,000 in this instance, 1,000 people in that audience. So that can be a way in which you can still spend on brand, but only for the people that you think aren't going to buy already organically. But our approach is typically to run brand, maximize it out if you've got the budget, and then start to get a feel for what your cost per branded traffic is compared to your cost per generic or non-brand traffic is. Hope that was helpful. If you've got any questions or you'd like an audit on your account, just go to simplyconverting.com/call and we're happy to do an audit on your branded traffic. Cheers.